Hey, YouTube, recovering Lebanon. Let's jump into it. They have a starvation crisis coming up. I go all the news till Zimbabwe. Did you watch the news? The new Second Thought vid? Did you watch the new Second Thought vid? Not quite sure what you're talking about. Second Thought vid. I did forget to show your quick little aside. Chad Mary pointed out that Stormy Daniels dropped a new fresh tweet. Someone said President Trump wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole, and Stormy Daniels over here with the clap back. True, he used the 3-inch one. Get him! I'd like to remind you that Donald Trump, during his entire presidency, wore adult diapers. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but of course, denying it and saying that you are, that your opponent wears diapers is a totally different thing. Second Thought, the YouTube channel. No, I didn't know that. I didn't see that they dropped a new vid. Is that? No, I thought this is all shorts. I am going to show this one. All right, Lebanon. Hello, we're covering Lebanon right now. So let me get back to it here.
Now, protesters tried to storm government headquarters in Beirut on Wednesday. Police fired tear gas to break up the crowds. Many of those are retired soldiers demanding a living pension.
Oh, heaven forbid.
Well, Amin Salam is Lebanon's Minister of Economy and Trade. He's in Beirut for us. Good to have you with us. The IMF is saying that Lebanon is at a very dangerous moment. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Lebanon is at a very, very, very critical transition period, and our staff-level agreement with the IMF as well is witnessing a very critical point now of discussions. We had the team visiting from the IMF this entire week with all the stakeholders and the IMF negotiations team and the Lebanese government, which I am a member of. And they shared with us their very, very
I think I remember something about that, Ken.
Concerns regarding the speed to move towards reforms versus the speed of the incline and the economy and the speed of the collapse in our monetary system as well.
So how has it got to this point? I mean, it was over a year ago that Lebanon and the IMF agreed to the reforms. Why have they not been implemented?
It's a very, very, very simple, answer to that. It's the political will. The political will in Lebanon,
every fucking time,
have been stagnating every
spineless
potential beam of hope or action that we tried. Really, even though we are part of this political system as a government,
these assholes and the people that vote for them. It really is a fight against assholes. Assholes who have a shitty life and they want to drag everyone else down into their shitty little fucking reality. I can't change my life, but I can make everyone else's life worse.
This way, the decision-making in Lebanon does not only revolve around the government, unfortunately. We have the parliament, we have all the political parties, we have the influence of the regional situation as well that really decides a lot of what is happening or what is going to happen in Lebanon. And despite
this is interesting. And they have an IMF loan that's pending, but they can't get their corruption and other things in line to actually receive the loan. Ooh, that's brutal. They got $3 billion just waiting in the wings for them. That $3 billion, is that what that said? Yeah, $3 billion.
Or what is going to happen in Lebanon. And despite the fact that our government has produced and delivered most, if not all, of the draft laws to the parliament, we are still, due to the lack of political will or a decision to let Lebanon really begin making a breakthrough with the IMF and making a breakthrough towards the recovery, we're still discussing and negotiating within the parliament laws that need to be out immediately, and they are more than exhausted. They have been, they exhausted the discussions on those laws.
So what are the particular reforms that need to be made and that people are blocking? Why are they blocking these ones?
Good question.
Well, you know, I mean, we have witnessed that, you know, what Lebanon is going through now is really a transition period from an old system to a new system. We are working towards a complete change. We want to start with a clean slate because we know that the old system, the old way of doing things within the Lebanese government, whether if it's a monetary, fiscal, or economic policy, it has proven failure. And we are trying to really start on a new path with a new framework with the IMF. That's why we are emphasizing the importance of the IMF, because it's putting a new framework that over 3 decades, none of the Lebanese governments, past Lebanese governments, have managed to put together to build a true economy, to build a true financial system.
That's interesting. You rarely hear a defense of the IMF, but he's basically saying it was this IMF dangling this carrot in front of us that has forced our governments to work together in a way that we haven't seen in a while.
To build a resilient economy with a vision. This is what we're trying to do. The fight between the old system and the new system is really that stalemate point that we are all now fighting over.
So you're basically
are about. Yes.
Sorry, you're basically trying to overhaul a system that's been in place for at least 30 years. Are you optimistic that you're actually going to be able to do that?
They call me one of the optimistic ministers, and I have to be optimistic because we have to take Lebanon to another place. We have to take Lebanon out of this miserable situation that we are going through now.
It can't get much worse.
Especially the social conditions and the economic conditions. And given that it has been proven over and over again that the old system, the old way, the old methodology that has been followed by the previous governments has proven complete failure, we need to go to a new place. That's why it's important to follow
the
IMF
spinach.
framework.
I think that was spinach.
It's important to have a political will to take the country out of this situation and to begin really going on a path of reform and recovery.
That's a lot of employees at the deli. This deli must be doing some business. Look how many people they got back there. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe another person, 5th person at the register. Look how big this deli is, bro. This deli must be hopping. That's a lot of folks back there.
Going on a path of reform and recovery today rather than tomorrow. I mean, time is our worst enemy now. Every day of delay is taking the country into a more difficult place and making the livelihood of people more dangerous.
That's what I wanted to touch on, because the IMF has said that everybody will need to take losses, but so far it's only really been the depositors at banks that have really suffered and lost their savings.
Yeah.
Is there any form of recovery plan in place to help the people of Lebanon?
Yes, I mean, for myself and for the Lebanese government, the depositors' rights is really a sacred right. And I have said that many, many times before. We cannot allow any agreement, we cannot allow any deal, we cannot allow any structure to jeopardize the rights of depositors. They are depositors that have put their money within the trust that the government, the central bank, along with the private sector banks, will preserve and protect their deposits. By no means at all I accept, or any government should accept, that the monies of the depositors will be the most jeopardized, or they will be the ones
rob a bank
to pay
to get
the
their money out of it, though,
or to pay the losses. This is the responsibility of the government. This is the responsibility of the private sector banks that have a fiduciary duty to protect the monies of the people invested in those banks and put in those banks. And we are trying now, along with the private sector, the central bank, and the Lebanese government, to find the best scenario to come out with an agreement that protects those depositors' monies. Any agreement that goes in any other direction will be unfair, will be, in my own opinion, a disaster on the economy and on the credibility of this or any following government.
Sure, he's right.
Amim Salam.
Yeah. He's keeping it real.
Minister of Economy and Trade for Lebanon. Thank you very much.
Let's see. So he's the Minister of Economy and Trade there. That was some frankness I was hearing from him, and yeah, I think there was some bullshit there as well, some optimistic thinking, some. But at the same time, I think there was a little bit of acknowledgement of reality that you don't often see from people in his position there. So that was interesting. Hey, maybe with leaders like this who acknowledge the reality of the situation and acknowledge that, hey, if our system is going to be respected and it's going to be legitimate, it has to protect depositors. That's a non-starter. Interesting. I think Lebanese immigrants are successful all over the world, but Lebanon being stuck between religious groups. Man. Well, we all know my thoughts on religion, huh, Jeff? Sorry, I won't repeat them. Anyway, there you go, YouTube. That's my Lebanon update.